My in-laws were coming to visit our new house for the very first time. Ever since we moved in, I had been excited and nervous about this day. I wanted everything to be perfect. My husband and I spent the whole morning cleaning every corner. He vacuumed while I scrubbed the counters. We sprayed the whole house with a soft smell that filled every room. I cooked 4 different dishes, real, warm, heavy dishes that took hours to prepare. I kept tasting them over and over, adding a little more spice, a little more salt, checking and rechecking because I wanted this day to feel special. I wanted his family to feel welcome. My husband kept sneaking into the kitchen to eat small pieces, then bigger pieces, then full spoonfuls. He said sweet things about my cooking each time, and while it made me smile, I still had to push his hand away before he finished everything. "You need to leave some for the guests," I told him. He left the kitchen laughing, chewing with joy, telling me I had outdone myself. When the doorbell finally rang, the sound filled the whole house with excitement. His parents walked in smiling wide, and his sister came in carrying gifts and talking loudly as she always did. We had not seen them since our first child was born, so everyone rushed to share stories at once. The living room filled with laughs and loud voices, and the kind of happiness that makes a home feel full. It felt like a good day. It felt like a safe day. When it was time to eat, I brought everything to the table. I arranged the dishes the way I thought looked nice. Before I could even sit down, his sister stood up and moved the bowls around, sliding plates across the table and changing the order I had planned. She did not ask. She did not look at me. She simply rearranged everything because she felt it should be her way. I looked at my husband, wondering if he would correct her, but he stayed quiet. And I stayed quiet too because she was older. She had raised him in many ways, and she had very strong opinions. She also ran a restaurant which everyone in the family respected. Still, a small pinch formed in my chest. We started eating. The room was warm with clinking spoons and soft hums of satisfaction. But then his sister took a slow bite. She stopped chewing for a moment and raised her eyebrows. "There is not enough seasoning," she said. The whole table paused. Then she added with a small laugh, "You should come to my restaurant and learn how to cook real food for your husband." She said it lightly, but it hit me like a slap. It did not sound like a joke. It sounded like a lesson. It sounded like she was saying I was not enough. I had cooked from the day before. I had cleaned. I had tried. And now, in front of everyone, I felt small, like a child being corrected. Before I could open my mouth, my husband spoke. His voice came fast, sharp, clear. "That is how we like our food here," he said. "When you get to your restaurant, you can cook it the way you want." The whole table froze, every plate, every spoon, every eye. His sister's hand stopped mid-air. His father looked up slowly. His mother stared straight at him. My heart was beating so fast I could feel it in my throat. He had never spoken to her like that. She had been like a second parent to him. She helped raise him after his dad died. Everything she said mattered deeply to him. But for the first time ever, he had chosen to stand with me. We finished eating in a strange quiet that did not match the warm beginning of the day. Conversations felt shaky, like everyone was walking on thin ice, afraid to break it. When they left, there were no hugs as tight as before and no lingering talk at the door. After the door closed, the house felt different. He looked like a man who had done something brave, but was just now understanding the cost of it. I felt proud of him. I also felt scared because I did not know what this would start. That night, while I was putting dishes away, I heard him in the bedroom talking on the phone. He was not loud, but his voice was tense and heavy. It was his mother. I did not hear her words, only his, and each one sounded harder than the last. "Yes, I remember what she went through when Dad died," he said quietly. "But why would she say that to her? Besides giving me my kids, what else has she given me? Mommy, you have no idea." My heart stopped. He said it so sharply, almost like he was repeating her words back in anger. But hearing those words from his mouth made something drop inside me like a heavy rock. Giving him his kids? Was that all I gave? Was that what she believed? The call lasted almost an hour. When he came out, his face looked tired in a way I had never seen before. I asked him what happened. He said nothing. He just shook his head and sat down in the dark. After that night, something inside him changed, slowly, quietly. At first, he became distant. He walked past me without touching me. He sat on the couch instead of next to me. He helped with dinner, but without talking. He looked like he was thinking all the time, thinking too much, thinking so hard that his eyes stayed heavy even in the mornings. Then he started questioning things he never questioned before. Little things I did, the way I cleaned, the way I cooked, the way I handled the baby, the way I arranged the house. He never insulted me, but he stopped celebrating me. He stopped seeing me. It was like his mother had pulled a thread loose in his mind, and everything after it started to unravel. I tried to talk to him. He kept saying, "I am fine," but he was not fine, and our home was not fine. One night I woke up and found him sitting on the floor of the closet with his head in his hands. When he finally spoke, his voice was low. "My mom said I have changed," he whispered. "She says you are pulling me away from them. She says I talk to my sister like she is nothing. She says that means I can one day talk to her that way too." After he told me everything that happened on the phone with his mother, we both agreed that the only thing left to do was apologize. Not because he had been wrong to defend me, but because the tension was growing into something too heavy for our small home to hold. We called his sister first. The moment she picked up, her voice was sharp, cold, and full of every emotion she had not said at the dinner table. She didn't want to hear explanations. She didn't want to hear how the moment spiraled. She didn't care that my husband had spent his whole life looking up to her. She was angry, deeply angry, and she wanted us to feel it. She said she was embarrassed. She said she was disrespected. She said she had never been spoken to like that by her own brother. And then she said the words that made my stomach twist. "When she divorces you, do not come to me for help." It wasn't just a threat. It was a promise that she would step out of his life completely. Hearing her speak like that about a marriage that wasn't even broken felt like a slap to the air around us. My husband stood there listening, jaw tight, eyes on the floor. When the call ended, he let the phone drop to the couch as if it had become too heavy to hold. I asked him gently if he wanted to go see her in person. I thought maybe seeing him face to face, hearing him speak without anger, might soften something in her, might help her remember all the years they survived together, might save what was left. But he shook his head immediately. No. He said he was done chasing her approval. He said he was tired of walking on eggshells around her emotions. He said he could not keep begging someone to respect the woman he chose to build a home with. Then, in a quiet, steady voice, he said something I knew took everything in him. "She did everything for me when I had nothing. But you and the kids are my priority now. My life is here. My loyalty is here." There was pride in his words, but also pain, deep old pain. Because choosing me meant turning his back on a sister who once stood in every gap life created for him, and he knew exactly what that choice would cost. Days passed, then weeks. His sister never called back. She never texted. She never asked about our child. She never tried to fix things. The silence between them grew into something thick and cold, something that felt permanent. And each time I saw him look at his phone a little too long, or pause when someone mentioned her name, I felt the truth settle in my chest. Their relationship was broken, not bent, not bruised, broken, all because of me. And even though part of me was proud that he stood for me, proud that he chose me, proud that he put our family first, another part of me tasted something bitter every time I thought about it. Because love shouldn't have to cost a sibling, protection shouldn't have to come with a loss, and a marriage shouldn't begin with a crack in another bond. Yet here we were, stronger together, but standing in the shadow of a connection that would never look the same again.